Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today, I wanted to talk about the Patriots game on Sunday, review what happened between the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins, and I also wanted to talk about the other night where the Boston Celtics lost Game 1 in the Eastern Conference Finals to the Miami Heat. We're also going to try to do a preview of the Patriots' next game in Seattle, and the Celtics game tonight. It's at 7 p.m. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Heat and the Celtics. So we're basically going to talk about football and basketball today, Patriots and Celtics. So to start off, I'm going to go with the subject that I probably should have talked about a couple days ago, but I really wanted to get going with the Patriots. So it looked like a really solid game all around for the Patriots. It was pretty much what a lot of people predicted for a score and how that game was probably going to go. I think Cam Newton looked a little better than a lot of people expected right off the bat, coming off of injury and in his first game on a new team, especially first game as a New England Patriot in the new system. So he looked really good. I think he especially ran the ball a lot more than people expected. 15 rushes is definitely up there. So yeah, 75 yards. He's the team's leading rusher. That's vintage Cam Newton right there. A couple touchdowns to go along with it. It was a little concerning. Again, a lot of people. It's mostly expected things where the Patriots just don't have the weapons, the receiving core, the running backs aren't very skilled at this point in time either, and the tight ends definitely aren't. There's just not much of a supporting cast on the offensive side of the ball for Cam Newton. The offensive line is okay, obviously. I think I've already said that they're just Isaiah Wynn he still has something to prove. Joe Tooney's on that 1-year deal. They're relatively the same. So as long as they can keep Cam Newton protected and upright and allowing him space to run to make those short yardage runs that he has really proven himself. That's his game. That's proven that's his game basically. That's how he's really going to get going against these defenses. As long as the offensive line can keep him upright and doing all those things, the Patriots should be okay on offense, even with the lack of playmakers around Cam Newton. It was the Miami Dolphins. It was their defense. They definitely made some signings this offseason, a couple of trades, I think. They signed Kyle Van Noy from the Patriots. They signed Byron Jones from the Cowboys. Those were their two biggest signings this offseason. But again, it's just Brian Flores is a defense first coach, but it's the Miami Dolphins. So again, that goes for the defense too. It's the Miami Dolphins offense. Their offense is not good. Their defense is not good. They're not a good team. Granted, I'll say they're definitely better than the Jets. The Jets are just awful. So yeah, it's just all around. I think that was overall. The score could have been even higher if N'Keal Harry doesn't fumble the football into the end zone for that touchback turnover, but the score probably could have been higher, if anything, which says a lot about the Patriots. They definitely need to capitalize on some things, especially against these better teams, because as we go from the review of Week 1, I'm going to go directly into the preview of Week 2. The Patriots are scheduled to play in Seattle Sunday Night Football against the Seattle Seahawks. So you're basically going from one spectrum to the other. I personally would have preferred maybe the Patriots gradually working their way up through opponents skill level wise. The Dolphins are pretty much the bottom of the barrel. Week 3, the Patriots play the Las Vegas Raiders, who did look good against the Carolina Panthers in week 1. We'll see how they look against the New Orleans Saints in week 2. But I definitely would have rather been maybe the Raiders week 2 and then the Seahawks week 3, just because the Raiders aren't nearly as bad as the Dolphins, but they definitely aren't as good as the Seahawks. It would have been nice to have gradually worked their way up through the difficulty of opponents. But can't really complain. The schedule is a schedule. So they're playing Seattle week 2 in Seattle. It's definitely not going to be as challenging without fans. Hopefully the game even happens. That being said, because of the air quality on the entire West Coast right now, if you're watching this in the West Coast, definitely thinking about everyone out there. But there was threats to the games being played last week in LA and San Francisco. They ended up playing eventually on time too, so there isn't too much cause for concern for the Patriots playing this week, but we'll see what ends up happening at the end of the day. But yeah, so the Seahawks are one of the best teams in the league, and the Dolphins are one of the worst teams in the league. The Seahawks got Russell Wilson, obviously. They got a great running game. Their O-line's okay. It's gotten better over the years gradually. That used to be a big deal for them. Their offensive line wasn't that good. The receiving core is really good. The weapons around Russell Wilson. Their defense, it might not be the Legion of Boom that it used to be back when the Patriots beat the Seahawks in the Super Bowl around that time. But they're still really good. They traded for Jamal Adams. He's one of the best, if not the best, safeties in the league. So the Patriots definitely have an uphill battle this week. They're definitely the underdogs. So they either have to change up what they did against the Dolphins, like they have to have either a different game plan, or they're going to have to just really capitalize on nearly every single opportunity that they're going to have against the Seahawks, because you cannot make too many mistakes against that team. And I know the Patriots defense is it's good. It's solid. The secondary is really good, but the linebackers aren't that great right now. We just lost too many guys. The D-line's okay. And Russell Wilson's probably going to take advantage of that. Like, I can see him having a really, really good day offensively, just like he did last week. So definitely going to try to have to contain. I know Bill Belichick loves to try to contain that like one part of an offense. It's usually the run game or one of the top receivers. I don't know what it's going to be in this case. Maybe just trying to stop Russell Wilson from using his legs. But he's just become such a great thrower over his career. I don't even know if that matters at this point. Just keeping him in the pocket. So it's just it's definitely going to be a telling matchup for the Patriots this week. I don't know how it's going to go. I wish I could tell you how it's going to go. I'm just telling you what I think could happen. They can definitely win this game. I'm not counting them out, but they're definitely the underdogs. I think Cam Newton's really going to have to like show what he can do as a passer in this game, and even as a runner too. He's definitely going to use his legs. It's just going to be a lot tougher to do that against a Seattle Seahawks defense than it was against a Miami Dolphins defense. So hopefully the Patriots can come out of week 2 2-0 instead of 1-1. I'm not going to, bash them for losing this game unless it's just like if it's just a blow. I'm not expecting a blowout, but if they just do not show up to this game on Sunday night, that's one thing to really be worried about. But otherwise, it should be a really good game. That's the reason why this game is on Sunday Night Football. So tune in, keep everything about what we just broke down in mind, and go Patriots. Honestly, hopefully they can get this win. It's going to be a really big morale boost if they can get come back home, get out of Seattle with a win on Sunday night. So, moving on to the Celtics, I said very briefly in my video the other day, towards the end or right at the end of my fantasy football week 1 video, that the Boston Celtics, they their 7-game series with the Toronto Raptors, it didn't really feel like a classic 7-game series. I don't think I really elaborated on that too much. I didn't expand on that too much. So what I really meant was the Celtics should have probably won that series in 5 games. Obviously, the buzzer beater in Game 3 was a really big blow to their confidence, it seemed like, because especially Jaylen Brown, just because he just did not have a good game in Game 4. They came back and took a 3-2 lead, and then the series was tied, and obviously they won. We all know that as Celtics fans and NBA fans all know how that series went. It just felt like if that buzzer beater doesn't happen in Game 3, that series at the most goes 6 games. Like, I couldn't see that going past 5 games after the Celtics were up 2-0, and that was just a huge momentum swing. So to me, that just wasn't a real 7-game series. This series, however, the Eastern Conference Finals between the Miami Heat and the Celtics, this is a pure 7-game series. This is a legit 7-game series. Like, it's going to more than likely go 7 games. It's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a battle till the end. That no one's going to let up. The Celtics did not look good at the end of the game in Game 1, where they ended up losing. They're down 0-1 in the series. But they looked, for the most part of that game, they looked like the better team. They just need to really work on closing these teams out. When the Celtics make a basket, it just doesn't look like they get back on defense, really, after they make a basket. When they miss, they definitely get back on defense. But it just seems like a lot of the time when it just seems like they love letting up baskets right after they get a basket. And obviously I'm saying they don't love to do that, but that's just what they do for some reason. As soon as someone hits a 3, they come back and the other team hits a 3, and it's like early in the shot clock. It just seems like that's the way the Celtics play defense, and the transition defense after scoring baskets it does not look good most of the time, or a lot of the time. So that's definitely something you have to work on, because that's really one of the reasons why the Heat were able to win the game the other night. Tyler Hero hit that 3, right back in the Celtics' face after they scored. I forget who scored exactly. I mean, it was either Kemba or Tatum. I think it was Kemba. And Tyler Hero just came back like 7 seconds later, transition 3, and that was a huge swing for the Heat. As we know, Jimmy Butler and ended up getting the game winner, but the Celtics looked like the overall better team for most of the game on Tuesday night. And they are the better team on paper, realistically. They have more talent. Obviously, Jimmy Butler is one of the best defenders in the league, one of the best leaders in the league. This is the reason why he wanted to go to Miami, so he could lead a team like this. And he's one of the top players in the league, especially right now in the bubble. Bam Adebayo is a really good player. But after those guys, it's really all Celtics that you would see. It's Tatum, Brown, Kemba, Hayward if he were healthy, Marcus Smart. Like, all those players are better than pretty much everyone else on the Miami Heat. So the Celtics are definitely the more skilled team, but the Heat are just in a zone right now. So this is definitely a 7-game series. And tonight, I think the Celtics end up winning. I think the Celtics come back and win. I think this is going to be a back and forth. And I personally, I think the Celtics need to win tonight, just because they've been so bad as the home team, especially last series against the Raptors. I think they lost every single game technically as the home team. The home and road splits aren't like really relevant exactly, with them being in the bubble in Orlando, but it's a really weird stat. They won every game against Toronto when they were the road team, and they lost when they were the home team. So if they can pull out a win tonight, because since they're a higher seed than the Heat, they were the home team on Tuesday and their home team again tonight. The Celtics, I think they need to win tonight. I think they do win tonight, and I think they all know that they need to win tonight. Because if you go down 2-0 to this team to the Miami Heat, after they have the confidence of just taking out the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis like they did, it just would not be a good look for the Celtics, and it would just not be a good situation for them to be in, going to becoming the road team all of a sudden in a couple nights and being down 2-0, especially because Tuesday night was such a tough loss. You don't want something like a blowout or another tough loss. You really need to get that win tonight, and I think they do. I think they pull it out just because they're the better team, like I've been saying. And for anyone that's interested in any other football talk, fantasy football, we got the Browns and the Bengals tonight. The Celtics should be just pretty much finishing up when that game starts. So Thursday Night Football, it's not on paper. The players are a pretty good team. You know, they make some pretty good teams and matchups. But again, it's the Bengals and the Browns and the Battle of Ohio. And there's a reason why this is on Thursday night, and there's a reason why next Thursday night is the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Miami Dolphins. The NFL does not like putting, besides the first Thursday night game where the reigning champ is crowned as the Super Bowl champions like the Chiefs were, and they usually have a good opponent to go up against them. Besides that Thursday night game, there's very rarely any good Thursday night games, and I think that's intentionally done by the NFL. So yeah, I wanted to really make a short video today. I think we pretty much covered a lot of things for the Patriots and the Celtics, what they need to do, what they have done, what they could do better. So go Patriots, go Celtics. Not to be a homer, but hopefully they can pull out these wins. These are two very big games. Obviously, the Celtics are deeper in their season than the Patriots are, but I think both games are very big and very telling for both teams. So hopefully they can get those wins, and I'll have a video next week to talk about. Hopefully the Celtics will potentially be up 3-1 or something like that. That would be great to talk about in a video. Maybe even Friday or Saturday, tomorrow or Saturday, I could make another video talking about game 2. It really depends on how it goes. And we'll try to talk about the Patriots too. If there's nothing between now and Tuesday, where I'll try to get my waiver wire video actually out on time. I actually do want to apologize for that before I go and end this video. The waiver wire video on Tuesday was supposed to come out hours before it did, way earlier in the day than it did. Hopefully you guys still found the rankings useful. That the second part of that video where I made my week 2 top 10 rankings for each position. If you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out if you find fantasy football interesting and you need some help with that. But that waiver wire video was definitely supposed to come out way earlier than it did, and I'm going to try to make the one on this Tuesday come out a lot earlier than that. So we're going to work on that. First video of the year for fantasy football pretty much, so we're still working some things out. But I think overall it was a pretty good video, so definitely check that out. And I'm not going to keep everyone going. This is really wanted this to be a pretty quick video. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you again for all the support. I really appreciate the texts. I've gotten calls, texts, direct messages when I post the links on Snapchat and Instagram stories. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you all next time.